Spoilers follow, and be sure to check the description for content warnings.
Leprechaun, precious gold is all gone. Could it be a simpleton or small child? Or did Ice-T say that he'd steal your pipe to play? Either way, everyone has to die. He's 3'1" and a biter might give you rabies. Yes, he's real, don't let Tori call you crazy. 'Cause he walks downtown with a zombie girl band, looking for the thieves that stole and ran. Don't you underestimate that leprechaun, turned to stone by his own medallion. What he seeks will soon be by his side, whether it's paid in blood, guts, or eyes. Was Delta Dawn by Tanya Tucker.
Oh, that was very good.
Thank you. Warwick Davis hunts down the cast of Law and Order and Friends in search of his residual Star Wars royalty checks in our second ever double feature, Leprechaun and Leprechaun in the Hood. Top of the morning to you, and welcome to the Nostalgia Killers podcast, where we revisit films from our youth to see if they still hold up or should be inserted into the great DVD player in the sky. My name is Chuck Starzenski. Once again, I am joined, almost as always, by Javier Martinez.
Excited to do this double feature about this leprechaun creature.
You did the brogue before I could, thank you. And we are joined by our resident leprechaun. We have Casey.
Thank you for the cultural appropriation.
Casey O'Connell, that is.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, and stay tuned to the end of the episode. We will do our Sonic Death Monkey top 5. This episode's top 5 movies that need an In the Hood sequel. But yeah, what a fucking ride is all I'm saying. Oh, yeah. When I first pitched this idea, I was like, oh yeah, Luke, who is sadly not with us today on the pod, he's still very much alive. Unless this is posted in memoriam. But no, I was like, oh, let's do like a horror movie because Luke's out of town. He's not a big horror hound. And with March, I was like, oh, well, let's do Leprechaun. And then Javi had the audacity to say, Leprechaun or Leprechaun in the Hood? To which I said, why not both? But yeah, let's kick things off. Javi, what are these films? What does this franchise mean to you?
I hate not being able to have like my story like be 100% certain. So I had to deliberate with Casey on whether I was remembering this correctly or not. But I'm under the impression that the first time that I ever saw this movie was with Casey. And I don't know if it was your house, my house, where we were at, but I remember us like scrolling through whatever, like video on demand or what, Comcast on demand, whatever it was back in the day, and seeing like, oh, Leprechaun, like that's sounds fucking hilarious. Let's watch that. And watching that. And then I remember after the movie was finished and seeing like, the other suggested films, like, holy shit, there's fucking 7 of these things or whatever at the time. Maybe there's only 5 or at that point. And like, oh, like, should we watch another one? And immediately being drawn to In the Hood, like, get the fuck out of here. Leprechaun Goes to the Hood, like, let's watch that one. I remember just dying of laughter, just roaring with laughter, and like being in stitches over what we were watching. I remember like pausing it and like rewinding it on like some scenes and like just having a grand old time with it. I actually haven't seen it in its entirety since then, but I definitely have like watched clips over the years of like stuff will come up on YouTube or Instagram, whatever. I'm like, oh, that's right. But it's very few and scattered clips here and there. So that's how I remember it.
Nice. How about you, Casey?
So yeah, like Javi said, we both watched it together, and yeah, I forget where it was. It was, I want to say, your house, and I don't know if we watched them at the same time. Did we watch them at the same time?
I thought we did, but
maybe we did. And those are the only 2 that I have. Oh, sorry. I watched those 2, and then I watched Back to the Hood at one point. I don't know if you did.
I don't think I did.
Okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, what the movie means to me, at least when I watched Leprechaun, I wrote absolutely nothing because I forgot so much of the movie. I just remember mostly in the hood. And that one I remember a lot of because it was so funny. We were dying laughing. I don't know, all the jokes and just the absurdity of it. It was just nonstop laughter. And yeah, other than that, I don't really have too much of a attachment to it. In fact, I don't know, Javi, did you notice what shirt I was wearing today?
Oh, for the people that can't see it because you're not here in person, he's got a Boondock Saints 2 All Saints Day shirt.
Yeah, this is my go-to for St. Patrick's Day. I don't usually go to Leprechaun, but no, it was fun to watch.
You've never
it again.
been to Leprechaun? Where all the redheaded folk under 4'6" get together and
That's 100%
celebrate?
a thing, right? That's got to be a thing.
It's got to be a thing.
There's no way.
I don't know. That was just shtick, but yes.
And actually, I brought the rest of my outfit for in the hood.
That is an Afro pick. Ladies and gentlemen, theys and thems. This is going to be a really short episode. But yeah, as far as personal nostalgia, I distinctly remember waking up in the middle of the night as a small child and, couldn't get back to sleep, turning on the TV and seeing snippets of a Leprechaun film, I'm not sure which one, and just instantly being like, oh, well, I guess I'm never going back to sleep again because now I'm just going to have nightmares for the rest of the evening. Spooky little man popping out of holes and just like, yeah. Definitely terrified me as like a 6-year-old. But that being said, watching this double feature, I realized that I have not seen either of these films ever.
Holy shit!
Wow.
Yes,
but I have seen their sequels. So I realized that because I was waiting for certain things to happen, and I'm like, oh, that's Leprechaun 2. I've only seen Leprechaun 2 from the original franchise, and I have only seen Back to the Hood, which I rented as like a stone teenager because it's like, how could you not?
Yeah.
You see the cover and you're like, well, yeah, obviously that's going in the basket. But I assumed Back to the Hood was kind of like it was like the early 2000s, so I thought it was kind of like Cradle to the Grave with like DMX and Jet Li.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, like it's just like a cool, this is how we spell things. The letters T and O, that's overrated, bro. That's 90s shit. This is the 2000s. We spell with numbers now. But yeah, it was the sequel.
Wow.
So I was pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
But yeah, do you guys have any favorite scenes from either of these films?
Whoo. I'm gonna start off with one of my favorite things about the Leprechaun, the first one, right? That's at the very end when he swallows the clover, the melting puppet. It's always a pleasure to see practical effects, especially ones that look that good, and especially in a horror movie. So yeah, I think especially after sitting through that entire movie this time around, and spoiler alert, wasn't a huge fan of it. So to kind of get that little giddy like grossness at the end, like, oh cool, it's melting and there's like fire coming out of its mouth, and it's clearly like an mixture of animatronics and whatnot, and yeah, it was just super fun to see. And like I said, I always appreciate that stuff. So I think that was like a last minute.
Yeah, I did love
Hail
that
Mary,
it was like it was like a Gremlins level goo fest.
Yeah, like it's like spitting out blood and whatever. Like, yeah,
So good. How about you, Casey?
I actually had that at the top of my list too. That one was just so
nice.
cool, and it was actually like, it wasn't like that scary of a movie, but that him just like his face melting was like actually creepy looking and practical, and he had green blood too, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I really liked it when, did you notice like he teleported kinda when he appeared when Jennifer Aniston was like pulling his gold out of the well?
Yeah.
And then he just like, I don't know, weirdly teleports right there. I know he has all sorts of weird
The rules are not established well in either.
No,
film.
it's a very loose system of magic. But anyway, he like teleports there, and it's like electricity in the shape of his body, and then he appears. It was a cool effect.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What about you, Chuck?
Yeah, I'm just gonna also quick get this out of the way. I am sweating bullets as a white podcaster here, trying not to, in the world of 2025, not trying to say anything too problematic here. I'm gonna double down on phrases like little person and mentally challenged.
Oh,
and,
yeah, right.
Transgender and there's
There's a lot of rough
lot of
stuff in
things
there, man.
going on in these movies. But yeah, favorite scene of the two films, hands down, is when Butch and Post have to do drag so they can trick the leprechaun into smoking 4-leaf clover-laced weed to numb his senses long enough for them to snatch the pipe back so they can become hip-hop superstars. And yes, I said that all in one.
I love that you said that all at once. That's amazing. Thank you for doing that, because that's somebody somewhere read that and was like, yeah, all right,
we're doing
let's
it.
shoot this thing.
Yeah, someone woke up at like 5 a.m. to like make coffee and toast bagels like as like craft services so that, yeah.
I do love how they do a whole like Mulan, montage of like turning into women. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but like the end result was like just horrible. They don't look like women. It just looks like dudes in dresses.
It was very, very Team America.
Yeah.
Modification.
Oh, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, they're going through this whole thing. And it's like, oh, actually, you guys kind of look the exact same.
Yeah.
Really, like.
Like Key and Peele do a way better job of turning into women, I will say.
Damn, Post, you look sexy as hell.
Which again, power to them, but it's so wild that was something that was written in 2000 or whatever, and like these two young black male actors were like, yeah, dude, like that sounds great. Like we're doing that. Like, like.
Well, and also
shit,
like it ties into my biggest nitpick of In the Hood too, which is like such a just double-sided coin of like, oh, okay, we're gonna do this, but then them doing drag and all this is super fun and cool and easy for you guys to stomach.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of just put a broad statement out there, and then I'll give you like a specific example. Ice-T, has that voice.
Yeah.
That's so fucking amazing and so easily like sampled for like stuff that so many of his lines were the highlights of In the Hood. Like a lot of the shit he was saying was fucking hilarious. And I was like, wow, like you really just said that. Like for example, there's the scene where he's talking on the phone to somebody and he's like, oh, he gives the line, which I'm going to use fucking forever now. It's like, I hope you had sex last night. Because I'm going to cut your fucking dick off.
I was going to say, if you didn't say that line, I was going to shout it out from the heavens.
Yeah, dude. Like what a fucking threat. I love.
And then feed it to his pit bull.
Right.
And then his pit bull's going to shit it out.
All right, while we're on In the Hood, I do have to say, I don't know if you guys looked at like the beginning credits, but everyone has an amazing name in this movie. Like, there's one named Dan Martin, which I assume is like the white producer guy, the one white guy in the movie, and the rest is like Bebe Drake, Lobo Sebastian, Chloe Hunter, Ivory Ocean. I think that was the pastor.
Yeah.
Pastor. Dea Valdaya. I mean, great names.
Yeah, for sure.
They got a lot of good people.
Yeah, another favorite I'm gonna start saying In the Hood and L1 to help differentiate.
Yep.
So in L1, my favorite thing about L1 is all of his little modes of transportation. I just love that he just has all these vehicles for no reason. He has a tricycle, he skateboards, he has a cute little car that he turns into a fucking killdozer.
Right? He uses it only once.
A pogo stick. He's fucking rolling around in the poor old crippled man's wheelchair. He's got roller skates. Like, yeah, he's just got so many little gadgets.
That's true. Lots of modes of transportation.
In L1, I love the conversation that they have where, oh God, I feel terrible. What's his name? The mentally disabled.
Not Otis. Hold on. Ozzy.
Ozzy, thank you. Okay, I didn't want to refer. Okay, Ozzy. The conversation that he has with the little boy, and he asks him, "Do you think you could kill a leprechaun?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can kill Ozzy. You can kill anything. You just have to know how to kill it. For example, give me a 357 Magnum. I'll put it to the little creature's brain. And boom, green blood everywhere. Like, oh, dude, it's like what? Yeah. I just love how nonchalant he was about that, and like other stuff in the film where he's just like, and I get that was like quote supposed to be kind of the dynamic of like, well, he's acting a little bit older because his buddy is like a little bit younger, mentally. So,
what a wild choice! Like, I did not also like. It wasn't until they said some very specific pieces of dialogue that I thought he was just like a weird goofball.
Yeah,
I didn't realize he was supposed to be mentally disabled.
No,
and also like, what a wild choice to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna have a little kid. Mentally challenged dude. They're going to be best buds. They're going to fight a little creature.
Yeah.
Well, I heard that they went back and forth on this movie on if it was going to be a kid's movie, and then they made it more adult. Mm-hmm. And so, like, that's where like that weird tonal shifts happen. And
Totally.
why they're in the movie, because they already got cast, but then they decided to turn into like a rated R. I think they were gonna make it like PG or something.
Yeah. It's not spoiling any of the trivia. But yeah, for sure. They definitely went back and forth between the producers, Warwick Davis, the director. Like I think the original vision when the director was writing it, Mark Jones, I believe that's his name. When he was writing it as like this super like scary like monstrous movie. And then as he was writing it, he was like, actually, I wonder if I could take a more comedic tone with it. And then when Warwick Davis came on, he was like, actually, that sounds great. Like I like the comedic aspect and I want to lean into that even harder. And then the studio was like okay with that for a while, but then they wanted to backtrack and be like, actually, no, we need to add more gore. So that's why there is that tonal shift in there.
Okay, yeah, because this movie, the first one, feels like
L1.
fucking Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah.
That then all of a sudden Warwick Davis is fucking pogoing men to death and like ripping cops' eyeballs out of their heads.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, they were, I forget, I think the influence that they wanted was like Critters, Gremlins. Mm-hmm. And they were like, well, no, we got to sell this to an older audience. So that's why they added the gore. But then it wasn't, because it doesn't really end up being that much, which I was surprised at. I was like, oh, like I thought this would be, or I remember this being more violent, but I guess it wasn't. So it kind of didn't really appeal to the older audiences either. So, but yeah. Speaking of the cartoony Disney Channel original, one of my favorites at L1 is the fucking Looney Tunes like shaped crash in the fence.
Oh yeah,
when he crashes into the white picket fence and it's got his little cutout of his silhouette.
all of those antics. Like I love the little fucking whack-a-mole scene in the kitchen.
Yes,
where he's just like, I'm over here, laddie, like popping out of fucking cupboards and then just like literally comes out of like a drawer and just honks paint thinner man's dick and then just like disappears again. Which that's what I'm calling him. I don't know the character's name, but knock off Kevin Bacon, paint thinner man.
Yes, thank God you noticed that. That's exactly what
it's
it
funny. Leprechaun is a like scratching, biting, penis pinching, boot buckle bitch slapping leprechaun.
No, we were watching this and my wife was just like, the first time he bit somebody, she was like, oh yeah, he's a biter. just like she said it so like, oh yeah, this is right up his alley.
Which, since you just mentioned it, one of the things that got me laughing the hardest in L1 was that first time that he shows up, or he appears to Ozzy, and Ozzy's like, what are you? And he's like, can't you tell me, boy? Look at my buckles. Look at my hat. I'm a leprechaun. And I was like, oh, so those are the two requirements to be a leprechaun.
Oh yeah, I guess you didn't know that.
You have buckles on your shoe and a green hat.
Yeah, pretty much. And green blood.
You guys got any more favorite scenes?
Oh, let's see.
I got one for In the Hood, which again, there's that scene where they're all sitting down, hiding from the leprechaun, and they're like, oh, like, we're going to do this, right? And they go, right, like fist bump, right, fist bump, right, fist bump. And then the
Leprechaun?
Yeah, and then the leprechaun's there, and he's like, right, they like fist bump the leprechaun, and then they do the stupid Scooby-Doo scream of like, ah! They look at the camera, like, ah!
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Let's see. In that one, that was funny, but I do love it when Ice-T is in the bathroom smoking a joint. The leprechaun like first comes and goes, a friend with weed is a friend indeed, because he wants somebody. Ice-T like hands it to him, all freaked out, and we just like laughed at that scene, and we always like said that line.
I still say it to this day. Yeah, anytime I smell weed, that's like usually my go-to.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
A curious aroma.
And also at their where they stay at their friend's house, and I forget their name. Fontaine. Like leads him into like their room, and he's just like kind of looking confused, but he's like, okay. Like,
I love how he does that often. Like there's a lot of scenes like that where he kind of just goes along.
Oh yeah.
Like like goes to the blind woman's to the blind mother's house, and she's like, you're gonna sit down and eat, and he's like, oh sorry. I guess I'm eating now.
This is what we're doing now.
Yeah.
He's the one on the ride, and he's just having fun.
Yeah.
Until he kills people.
He's all about the journey. Yeah. One of my last favorite scenes from In the Hood is definitely the church scene. Just not the actual performance or anything like that, but I know I saw you look at me like, are you serious? But no, post Coolio cameo, just them kind of like you said, like Scooby-Doo, running into him and then having the standoff once again with Mac Daddy and having him be like, I got you fools cornered, like all this and that. And it's like, well, what about like the little green fool right behind you? And it's like, I'm not falling for that Scooby-Doo shit. And then Warwick Davis just literally blows a hole through the bodyguard. And then we get like a full-on like shot through the body.
Oh, yeah. That's when you really see how far his powers can go. And that he could do that anytime. He just does whatever.
I guess I'll just really quick shout out in L1, just all the attacks, all the scenes where Warwick Davis is actually on screen. Like specifically like the bear trap attack.
Oh God, that was like probably the funniest one.
Yeah, exactly. Paint thinner man's just walking out with a shotgun and just steps in a bear trap, and then he's just like, but what about nitpicks and fixes, you guys?
I feel like a lot of these we've already sort of hinted at. So I'll just go with the first one that kind of was one of the biggest ones for me. Which again, I understand it's totally kind of like meh, like for horror movies in general, but the inconsistencies in like his powers and strength level.
Oh yeah, I don't know what he can do and what he can't do.
Right, like for example, he can, he's on his little fucking go-kart and he flips the fucking truck. But then other times he's like behind a door and he can't break the door, right? Or like he literally teleports out of the pawn shop owner's safe, but then in the hood he's trapped in a safe. So like what?
Like I said,
and he has
this is his journey. He's just along for the ride and does whatever he wants.
He's got to like, he does a stupid little, I forget what it is, but the little summoning chant for the zombie fly girls. To do what? To like trick the guy, but then he's already out of the safe anyways, and he's the one that ends up killing them anyways. So like he could have just snuck up on the guy and killed. Like I don't know. It's just a lot of
apparently he's running a prostitution ring though, according to Butch. That's like a whole like weird side plot we really get a touch in.
Yeah. So yeah. That's kind of my biggest one. I have more, but I'll let you guys shoot some off.
I mean, like I probably won't watch the rest of the movies, but I am curious like what other powers they present to him, in the other movies. Mm-hmm. Like, all right, for L1, I do wish that like just tonally they chose a lane. Yeah. Like make it like Nightmare on Elm Street or something. You can have it be quirky, but just also like it could be more horror. Or go goofy. I'm fine with that. But also, he kills a guy with a pogo stick and then, chases a cop for like an hour and then snaps his neck. I want more silly kills. Give us more of that. Like kill people in way more silly ways. I know they were only like most of the movie was just chasing some young kids in one little house out in the middle of nowhere, but I want a bunch of silly kills. And in the hood, I don't know. Also, kind of tonally, it was kind of weird. I don't think he had as interesting of kills in this one, or they weren't as silly. Like, he blows a guy's chest out, but I wanted like more pogo sticky type things.
All right, for L1, every scene that the Leprechaun wasn't in was god awful. Like it was so just like painful. Like Jennifer Aniston's character Tori was just like so underdeveloped. She's just like this. I'm a girl and I'm rich. Like that was her.
Girl.
That was her entire character trait. It was like borderline unwatchable. And then in the hood, it was like my biggest nitpick is the transphobia and the treatment of Fontaine. Yeah. Because it's kind of very much, just early 2000s, just kind of like, like that's a dude in a dress, do kind of stuff. Which again, like, so it's, that's a dude in a dress, look at the freak for Fontaine. But then when they do it at the end, it's still for comedy, but it's more like, oh yeah, like we're just dudes being dudes, doing what we got to do to get this record deal. Which is just kind of like, all right, again, like, tonally like pick a lane.
Right.
So those are like my big nitpicks. And then as far as like actual like just little nitpicks, all the kills for the most part in the hood are like so fucking weak. Like, and I understand they just don't have a budget, but it's like, they were just kind of like a lot of like kind of borderline off-screen deaths.
Yeah.
And then also like the flute music choice was so bad. It was so atmospheric that I thought I was deaf for half a second. Because like it was like every time they play the flute, it'd be like, okay, where's the flute sound? And then it's like it took me a second to be like, oh, you mean this like B-side off an Enya record. That's what the flute is making. Like, there's like drums and shit in this sound. Like, this is not flute music. This isn't pan flute. This isn't anything. This is just literally like atmospheric, like river running and like kind of like, in what world does a fucking flute make that sound? I was so confused.
It's a magic flute, Chuck.
What does it even do? I mean, I couldn't even understand really what its actual power was. Like, does it
Puts people in a trance.
Okay, but like it puts his friends in a trance for a second, but like how did that help Ice-T in the movie like become successful or whatever? Like,
Because they were in a trance.
Because he would control
how trances work?
everybody.
he doesn't control people, or okay, can you give him orders? Did he give people orders? I mean, in the church scene, he just kind of like blew it and then they came back. It seemed like it made him more interesting, but like
I think it just like opens up the power of suggestion. So like, for
Okay.
example, when they would play their god-awful music, which every song
Jesus.
like I was like, dude, this is exactly what old white people think hip-hop is, and this is why they hate it.
Yes.
But yeah, like, so it's like, you know, it's like you play it and then all of a sudden it's the power of suggestion of like, oh, maybe this music is good. So I think it's kind of
Okay.
like you play it and then Ice-T's like, you should do my bidding. And it's like, you know what? I probably should. I probably should be your henchman or your prostitute or like whatever weird thing he's got going on.
right. Okay.
Yeah, another one that I had for L1 was, and again, I get that it's a horror movie thing, but I feel like in this one it was way more like, come on, dude, really? Is whenever he does the impersonation of the voices, and he's doing like the little girl voice, he's like, Mary had a little, and people are like walking towards the fucking demonic shouts like, hello? Like, who is that? I was like, dude, it's one thing if you like hear a scurry or like a knock and you're like, okay, well, I mean, I feel like most of us would probably at least like, okay, like let me just kind of take a look, you know, like let me make sure it's not a rat that I have to kill or something, you know. But it's like if it's a fucking child's voice like singing a melody, like nobody's fucking walking towards that, like in a fucking basement, like no.
Yeah, no, it's like, and he can mimic anyone. So why isn't it just like, hey, it's me, Jennifer Aniston, your best friend.
Right.
Like, come get me. This
Exactly.
is
I
what
mean,
I
it would
sound
make
like.
more sense.
Yeah.
Like when he does the police officer's voice, like that was
Yeah.
clever. I'm like, oh yeah, exactly. That's the way that power should be used for sure. So
Yeah, and if I had one more, I would say in L1. In L1, like the second half, it was a little boring because it like was very repetitive. It was like they'd shoot him, he'd run away,
Yeah.
come back, shoot him, run away. Like he got shot a bunch of times.
Oh, yeah.
And it was
Clearly
just, like,
it doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but it just like held him back for a while, you know, and it was kind of like the same thing for a while until the clover.
And then, yeah, another one is just like, what was with the shoe shining? Is that a leprechaun, like, folklore thing? Like,
I kind of tried to look
Would
it up,
you
but I
enlighten
couldn't,
us,
really,
Casey?
I couldn't really find anything on it. I
he
guess.
says offhand, like, once or twice that he was a shoemaker. So he just care about shoes that much that he's going to shine them? Or is that, like, actually like, oh, yeah, leprechauns, those cheeky little bastards, they always go around shining your shoes.
Yeah, he was a cobbler, and so like, you know, that's all he does. He cobbles and counts his gold.
yeah,
Like,
which
that's
is, again, it's
basically
funny
it, I
because
guess.
it's like how much of that, you know, again, thinking way too hard into it for a fucking movie of this caliber, but like, yeah, he like shines his shoes for a second and then just like tosses it over his shoulder and grabs the next shoe. So it's like, well, so
Now, those shoes are dirty,
like,
sir.
is it like an OCD? Like, are you just like really like you just have to shine it a couple times and like that's good enough to like satisfy your leprechaun need to
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
try to get answers, man?
I don't know. I don't do that. Cobble shoes, I mean.
Oh God. Yeah, that you already touched on the rest of mine, Chuck. The terrible raps, the trans character, which I just double back into that real quick. It's funny because when we first meet Fontaine, I actually like for a second was like, oh, like is this going to be like a positive portrayal in the sense that like they were like, oh, well, where do we go to hide out? And they go to like her house or and she's like, she tells them something about like, oh, well, if you're gonna stay here, it's gonna cost you money. Like, you know the drill. And when she said, you know the drill, I was like, oh, is that like, have they gone to her for services? Like,
Yeah,
are they
they
like,
all fuck her? What's
Yeah, I
going
was like,
on
oh,
here?
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's interesting. And then, and so I thought it was gonna be like, and then they like talk about like, oh, like her operation. I'm like, okay, cool. So it's not just like, whatever, back in the day, like cross dressing or whatever. Like it was very like, oh no, like, yeah, I want to get an operation because I'm a woman. Like, oh, okay. So I was like, wow, this is going to go in like a really positive light. And then I think it was literally like 2 scenes later that it was like, man, I was like, oh, never mind. Nope.
Nope.
No.
I think back then, like the biggest positive thing was that they actually did go to Fontaine. That was probably big for their characters.
Yeah.
On to Rainy Day Double Feature. What movie or movies would you guys watch with this film series on a rainy day?
For mine, I had, and it's funny because they actually referenced the character, but I went with Child's Play. You know, because again, just silly
that's a good
little
one.
crazy-haired guy that makes jokes and kills people, but done way fucking better, and knows how to handle its tone a little bit better. I was like, yeah, it made me really kind of want to watch. Again, I think it's been a minute since I've seen Child's Play, but if I remember correctly, I do believe that it is a far superior film. So I was kind of like really wanting to watch Child's Play. Yeah.
Let's do it for spooky season. It was on the docket for the
Right.
first season, and we just didn't get to it.
Yeah.
How about you, Casey?
I chose Gremlins.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm like, okay, I want something that's more on the silly side, but also still very horror-y. And also little green guys causing havoc. So I like that aspect. I'm like, I thought they would pair together quite well. I almost picked another movie, but yeah, I thought Gremlins was a good way to go.
Nice.
Yeah, I went Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky.
Ah.
So kind of doing like a similar pairing. You get some fun early work of the Chucky character, and then you just go full camp.
Yeah. Makes sense. Nice.
Did you have one for In the Hood, Javi?
I did not have one for in the
Oh,
Hood.
okay.
Did you?
Yeah, for me.
Oh, okay.
I picked Gremlins too. I made mine a double feature as well.
Hey, you
There
guys
it
are
is.
both on
That's
theme. I like
exactly,
it.
yeah.
I have not seen Gremlins 2, but I heard it's way more unhinged. So I'm like, yeah,
Oh.
give me that after In the Hood.
Oh, you got to see Gremlins too. It's so
That's for another day, I think. But
Yeah.
I saw it very recently, and after talking about it hearing it being talked about on the podcast.
well, we'll
last
get
year,
you and Robert in a room
Oh.
together. It'll be great. You guys will have an awesome conversation. And that brings us to this movie's cocktail. Today we're drinking the Pot of Gold. So we've got 1.5 ounces of Charbay double and twisted whiskey, 1/2 ounce of Irish whiskey, and 1/4 ounce of Earl Grey simple syrup. A little dash of Angostura bitters. Stir up over ice as ye hunt for your gold so shiny and nice. And that brings us to this episode's Dead Drop, which I still don't really understand, but it's something Lucas started. It's an esoteric password related to the film. Phrase of this episode is End of the Rainbow. And speaking of End of the Rainbows, that's the end of Act 1. It's time for our ad break. And we're back with Nostalgia Killers Trivia. It's time to see if Casey and I have what it takes to solve Javi's Riddles 3, or if we should be smacked side the head with a shillelagh.
Thank you all. All right, let's get this game started, shall we? Question number 1. True or false? This film, as in Leprechaun 1, was inspired by Lucky Charms.
True.
True.
It is true. Yes, the director Mark Jones was inspired by Lucky Charms commercials to create the Leprechaun character. Only his twist was to turn the character into an antagonist. So, yeah. It's funny, it seems like that one would be a no, but it is.
I figured as much because they went to the trouble of like making a mock-up box and having him eat it too.
Yeah, right. Question number 2. A surprising number of now famous little people were used as body doubles or stunt doubles for Warwick Davis.
True.
That's not a true or false.
Oh, sorry.
It is true. You're right. It is true.
I jumped the gun.
It is. Which one of these actors was not one of the little people in the film? A. Vern Troyer of Austin Powers. B. Tony Cox of Bad Santa. C. Deep Roy of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Or D. Martin Kleba of Pirates of the Caribbean.
Which one was not?
Yes.
Vernon Troyer.
I'm gonna go C.
It is A. Vern Troyer. You're
Damn
right.
it.
You're right. But the other three were body doubles and stunt doubles. Question number 3. True or false? The line, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," was a jab from the director after General Mills denied their request to use their cereal in the film, hence the Lucky Clovers, the mock-off cereal, and even filed several lawsuits because of it.
True.
It is false.
Damn it.
The cereal was always meant to be off-brand. Funny enough, the studio hated the line and they wanted it to be cut and fought very hard to have it cut. But the director convinced them that it would be the fan favorite moment.
Which it is. Anytime a child gets to swear and shoot a gun at a little person, you know? Chef's kiss.
Question number 4, true or false? Jennifer Aniston did this film as a favor to Friends casting director Ava McGraw as a thanks for pushing her through the Friends audition process.
False.
I'll also say false.
It is false.
Hey. It's like, I think if she was cast in Friends, she just wouldn't have done it.
No, Friends was the following year, so it was very close. But question number 5. With a budget of $1 million, this is for L1, this film grossed $8 million in its theatrical release.
True.
That is true. You're right. That's not the... Yes, it is. How much did it make in VHS and DVD sales? Is it A, 750,000, B, 5 million, C, 10 million, or D, 15 million?
I'll say C.
I'll say B, 5 mil.
It is D. It is $15 million.
Jesus Christ.
I thought I was going.
And as you guys might have guessed, this was due to Jennifer Aniston blowing up after Friends. So a lot of people retroactively went back and like, oh, what is?
Did
what
you hear
else?
Rachel's in this horror movie?
Yep.
Okay, that makes sense.
And after she blew up, they put her on the cover.
Right?
Oh yeah, because like when you go on, like when I was looking for this film on streaming, it was like, oh, just her face.
Yeah,
Leprechaun.
it's just
Yeah.
basically.
Question number 6, and this is for In the Hood. All right.
Ooh.
Production had to be temporarily halted due to what circumstance? A, the company financing the film was furious and pulled all funding after finally receiving test footage. B, Ice-T and his entourage got drunk on set one night after filming and destroyed the entire apartment set. C, Warwick Davis was suffering from chronic flatulence. D, Coolio was unavailable for his cameo, and Ice-T demanded production wait until his good friend Coolio returned from his tour.
I'm gonna go D because I feel like that's petty enough.
I wish it was all of them. After you read them, I'm like, no, I wish it's that one. But I'm gonna say B. That one sounds funny.
Neither of you got it. It is C. Warwick Davis was suffering from chronic flatulence. It was disrupting filming so much that they had to halt it until he.
Oh my god! How
Poor
much
little
can
dude.
How much can you fart?
Yeah,
really.
how
halt
bad are your
production.
farts too that it shuts down production?
I'm sorry, yet again.
I feel like they could have just kept that in too, and it would have seemed totally in place.
Oh, it would have seemed tonally perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, he would have been like high and farting the whole movie.
I'm sorry, I passed me gas out of me big fat ass.
Oh, that's good.
Which we didn't touch on. I loved that they made him rhyme the entire time.
Oh yeah, oh it's great. It's
Right, it was a funny change.
no for sure. And some of them are like okay, but some of them are like okay, that's really fucking funny.
Let me tap that ass.
Trivia was scarce for this, by the way. So
Oh yeah.
we're getting to the
You're
area
doing
where-
great so far.
Thank
I
you.
love these.
All right, question number 7. True or false? Ice-T agreed to do this film only because his son was a huge fan of the series.
True.
False.
It is true.
I can see
Yeah,
Ice-T
yeah,
be like,
I-
shit.
yeah,
I
I-
gotta do this for my kid.
I thought I'd written down the quote, but it was something to the effect of like he received the script and read it, and his reaction was like oh fucking hell no, you gotta be shitting me. There's no fucking way. And then like at the end of the day, he talked to his son about it. And his son's like, oh dude, I love that. Dad, you gotta do it. So then he said, all right.
What a good dad.
Question number 8. What was the original idea for the 5th sequel? A, Leprechaun Takes Miami Beach. B, Leprechaun in the White House. C, Leprechaun versus the Leprechaun King. Or D, Leprechaun in Disneyland.
C.
I'm gonna go B. I want to watch all of these though.
It is B.
Hell yes!
Leprechaun in the White House.
Hell yes, Warwick for president.
Yeah. apparently the director was a really big fan of President Clinton. And so he wanted to do like a little parody tribute to their family, to the Clinton family, and have Warwick or the Leprechaun character infiltrate the White House and like.
Hey, Hillary, I found this pot of gold, baby. Like,
How did that not work out?
Yeah, yeah. But then they said, nah, let's take him to the hood.
It's cheaper.
True or false? Director Mark Jones had to trick the producers into hiring Jennifer Aniston by telling them that she would be dyeing her hair blonde, as they only wanted a blonde woman for the role of Tori.
True.
I'm gonna say true.
It is true. It is true, yes. That was pretty much the only way the studio was like, we want a young blonde. And he's like, well, what about this young woman? She's a great actress. She looks great. They're like, nah. So.
Gotta be blonde and have big bazooms. It's a horror movie we're making, kid. Yeah, exactly. Puff cigar.
Have you seen horror movies, kid? Yeah. All right, last question. True or false? And this is for In the Hood. Due to the film's incredibly low budget.
True.
The significant majority of the film was shot in the back room of a local theater.
I'll say true to that.
True.
It is true.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it is true. Yeah. A lot of the sets are the same exact room, just decorated differently. And do we have a tie?
No, I think Chuck wins.
Oh, looks like
I got it. Oh.
Yay!
Yay.
Though trivia was thin, it looks like Chuck pulled through for the win.
Oh!
Yay. Oh, God. Thanks. That was so fun. Thanks for the trivia.
Yeah.
And also, speaking of thanks, thank you to our executive producer, Addie Martinez. Addie, you're our gold coin that we cherish always, but to all of our listeners, we need 99 more to fill our sack. So I'm going to play me magic flute and make you follow us on patreon.com/nostalgiakillerspodcast. And with that, it's be time for us to be taking our second ad break. And I finished me cocktail, so now all bets are off. Ad break number 2. And we're back with Act 3, the award categories. We're going to start things off the way we always do with my new band name. Ton of fun dialogue, ton of stuff to pick through. Excited to see what you gentlemen came up with.
So my first band is the Zombie Fly Girls.
Oh, dang,
Shit.
that's good.
I had to wait till,
Oh,
My first band name was Zombie Fly Girls. And it's just a trio, maybe a hip hop trio. I didn't want to go for that one, but that's probably what it is, a hip hop female trio. Powerful women rapping about whatever it is they rap about, but they're Zombie Fly Girls. So yeah.
No, that's a good one. I don't know. I had trouble with band names because I don't know. Maybe I just missed a lot of dialogue, but like I couldn't find much that was good. But for L1, I have either Bite Your Ear Off,
Yeah.
which is probably just punk rock or something.
Yeah.
And then, but my favorite is, what was it? Three Guys That Paint.
hell yes.
See that's on their truck?
Yes.
And they're probably just like a folksy. One of them probably has like a banjo or something. I didn't have one for In the Hood, unfortunately, but I had two for the first one.
Yeah, I took all of mine from L1. So my band is Chasing Rainbows.
Nice.
They're a Riot Girl band. Their hit album is Blue Is Not Your Best, which is when, Ozzy gets covered in blue paint.
Oh.
And Alex is like, haha, blue isn't your best. And then he's like, I'll get you, you little punk. Which also, like, I feel like he was much more cognitive in the first act. So that's, I think, why I was like, oh, he's just like a wacky adult who maybe he's a pedophile. Maybe that's why he hangs out with this kid. But then it was like, yeah, we're going to get your brain fixed. And I was like, oh no, he's supposed to be slow. I don't like this at all. But anyways, Chasing Rainbow's hit song off their album Blue Is Not Your Best is I Know What It Feels Like When a Man Caresses My Leg.
Yeah.
Oh, that is a good one. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, exactly. You guys got any others?
Yeah, I got one of the hit singles from Zombie Fight Girls' first album is Bitches and Hoes Ain't All My Man Knows.
Hell yes.
That's in reference to when they're talking about Mac Daddy Onassis.
Did not have a band name for it, but my favorite rhyme from In the Hood is, tisk tisk, you three hoods, you've got more loot than Tiger Woods. My wife was, she like got up from watching the film and like was coming back from the kitchen and she was just like, oh, fuck. When he said that, she was like, oh. We have the Roger Deakins Would Be Proud Award for cinematography. This is a horror movie. It's usually slim pickings. You guys got any shots?
I have for In the Hood. There's that scene where I forget what the previous scene is, but it fades to black, and they do a lot of fade to black in that one, in that one in particular. But they fade to black, and then the Jackie D opens up a black bag with the recording equipment, so we go from the fade to black to like the black being opened, like the inside of a POV from inside the bag. So again, I had to search really hard, but I was like, okay, I'm like, that's pretty cool. This was after we had to have like 10 fade to blacks, and I was like, okay, well, at least they brought it back in a clever way, not just like cut to next scene.
I don't have much for like actual cinematography stuff, but I do just love.
How dare you, Mr.
Sorry.
O'Connell?
Did you watch this movie?
Cinematic masterpiece?
I guess I don't pay attention to cinematography all that much, but I do love the very short opening scene for both of the movies, which I'm pretty sure they just stole the same
they shot it
with
once.
just different words, but like it looks cool. It's creepy. He's walking down some stairs in his little cave, and like they put glitter on him, like his hat's glittering. I just thought that looked kind of cool.
Which actually that made me curious because I had forgotten that In the Hood opens up like that too. So when that happened, I was like, wait a minute, do they all start like this?
They've got to, right?
So now I have to go back and be like, dude,
right.
Do they all start like that? Him walking down the stairs, give a little rhyme, and then
they must if they use it all the way in 5. Yeah.
For In the Hood, there's a scene where basically the 3 rappers are 3 protagonists, like all high five, and then they perfectly high five and separate their hands to reveal Ice-T's character walking down the hallway. I thought that was like an actual good shot in The Hood. But if we're talking shots in The Hood, favorite hands down, it's an awful shot. It's like a wide shot of Stray and I always want to call him Brutus, but it's what is it? It's
the one that knows
B.
about chemistry or whatever.
Yeah, the one who's a virgin. Which I did love how much they keep ragging on the poor guy for being a virgin. Where it's like, is there pussy in heaven?
That poor guy died, in a dress behind a bar.
Butch. There we go.
Wow.
I stalled long enough to figure it out. But yeah, so my favorite though is Stray and Butch waiting for Post to show up.
Oh, darn, I do remember the one you're talking about.
3 fucking cuts of this guy walking across a field, and it's just like I was like dying. I was like, dude, just do another take. Just have him start 50 feet closer to you, or just have him walk off. He's off camera, walk on camera, and be like, yeah, all right, guys, I changed my mind. Let's do this. Instead, it's like, oh, here comes Post. What's up, homie? And then just like cut. He's like 6 miles away still. Like, yeah, Post, you in on this or what, kid? And then like another cut. And then he's like, I changed my mind, fellas. I'm down.
For one of those cuts, I swear he only walked like 1 step.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's literally, it's funny because I also had like one that I was like, I guess I'll just put this. It's not good. It's a bad one, but I have nowhere else to put it. But it's from Lep 1. And it's the green lighting that they use for the field of clovers.
Oh, yeah.
That's like clearly coming off to the side. It's not even like they didn't even try to like I don't know, bury it or like find a way. It's like, yeah, they're searching through the clovers and you see like the green light reflected on their arms and everything.
Yeah.
And again, it's clearly just like.
Well, it's also just such a bad idea. It's like, how do you find clovers in a field after dark in a movie?
Well,
like it's
they
like,
all glow, of course.
Yeah. I know it's like my wife, who's like not even really into films, really. She was sitting down like watching it with me, and even she looked at me and was like, "So, you know about movies? Like, why do they do that?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I don't know."
Not a reason. Yeah.
You're right. I do know about movies, which is why I don't know why they do that. There's no. And she's like, "Yeah, it's like, shouldn't they like do that like not from just one area?" And I'm like, "Yes."
Right, sorry, I did have one that, since you mentioned that in L1, like also in L1, when he like first scratches Jennifer Aniston and then he goes like and hides in a tree hollow and bites the dad, and they like looks in the tree hollow at him, and I don't know if it was like some weird like rotoscope thing, but like I don't know, it just looked super.
Oh yeah, no, it was
there, whatever. It's like his face, but like looks like it's like way far back, like 10 feet behind the tree or something.
Yeah, like the depth
really
perception's super off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a beehive or something. Like, what is happening?
Which the fact that the dad went like fucking
Just
elbow deep
in a fucking tree.
Oh, he doesn't want to come out.
Well, then leave it the fuck alone.
Even if it was a cat, the result would have been the fucking same.
That's
Yeah,
also
also,
why,
we don't know if it was a cat. Like it's like, okay, yes, you saw a cat earlier, but it's like, what if you reach in the hole and there's like a fucking like rabid raccoon in it? Yeah. And then as far as other shots, just I loved all the classic horror shots in L1. There's a lot of just like very other movies doing it better, but like kind of homage shit. Like there's like the Evil Dead like POV, like just the camera chasing after the characters.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of like the kind of like ooh tilting as Jennifer Aniston walks down the hallway of the mental hospital.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I did like the close up of like his feet running up to people. And as far as I'm concerned, the dad is dead. He didn't make it. He got rabies from the Leprechaun.
You don't come back from a lep bite, man. Is that Channing Tatum in a dog collar? Yeah. Did you guys get any cameos for these movies?
I'm gonna go ahead and take it, dude.
Do
Fucking
it.
Coolio, and into this because I love that. That's all it is. It's
He
just
doesn't even have a line of dialogue
yo,
or anything.
that's Coolio. Randomly at the fucking dingy church, and it's like that's it. And then we never see him ever again. That's why I thought that trivia about Coolio was like, oh, dude, that sounds so.
So I was like, that's got to be it. It's like, why else is he there other than he's hanging out with Ice-T?
Yeah.
For me, besides Coolio, I tried to look up some of the people in the hood and didn't know any of them. I looked up like in L1, like the police chief. I'm like, that guy has to be someone I've seen before, but I never saw him before. So there's really no one that I knew.
Yeah, aside from Coolio, I had Alex in L1, the little kid. It's Robert High Gorman. I just know him as the little kid in 90s movies that I watched growing up.
He's in a
So
lot
he's
of
the
stuff,
little
is he?
kid
Oh.
in Rookie of the Year. He's in Mr. Nanny. He's in like a bunch of, basically just like, don't tell mom the babysitter's dead. Like basically just like any like ragtag group of children like running amok and then like some adult trying to get him in line. He's in those movies.
Nice.
And then the last one, I had one more because I had to mention it because he's a what do we used to call it? A usual suspect, right? But Mark Holton, the guy who plays Ozzy, right? That's the guy in Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Oh,
too.
okay, that's what
That's
I
the
thought.
rich kid. Hey, quiet, Pee-wee. I want your bicycle. Yeah, which is funny because it's basically the same character.
Yeah, I didn't look him up, but I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And with the Coolio cameo, like, I don't know if they were trying to play that to be funny or what, but it just came out of nowhere and like it didn't go anywhere. It was just like, is that Coolio? And then it's gone. And it's like, I don't know. I thought that was like kind of weird. That
Yeah, and that's like, he didn't even have a line of dialogue. Like, he could have at least been like, oh, you guys are whack or something like just something where it's like,
Right.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I produced a lot of Mac Daddy's music or something. Like, no.
exactly. Anything.
Nope.
He's not even with Mac Daddy, I don't think. That's the best part. Because he shows up at the church during their performance.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to change this category to, hey, look, it's Coolio.
I know, right? I'm down. That brings us to Guy Pearce's trash, a controversial hot take. Do you guys have any hot takes about the Leprechaun franchise?
Well, I do. My hot take is that I think the idea for a Leprechaun horror film is actually a great one, but it is terribly executed.
Bold.
But I would absolutely be down to see a reimagine. I know they kind of like did a soft reboot of this franchise, so I don't want to see that, but I want to see a brand new take on the Leprechaun mythology and see Leprechaun horror film. I would be down for that.
I mean, they made a newish one called like Leprechaun Origins.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I heard about that.
It,
no, I don't want
maybe...
to check that out. No, I want a brand new. Like I want.
You just want
like,
brand new.
Yeah, like give it to somebody, you know, whatever. Like give it to fucking Jordan Peele or like,
that would,
you know, Oz
cool.
Perkins or any of those guys. Like just, you know, I want to see something. Yeah.
I don't know. I really want established powers for the Leprechaun and even his coins. Do you notice that when they found his coins, they like appeared, like they were gone, they were disappeared, and then they appeared?
Oh yeah, like
I don't
in
know
the
if this
truck.
is the time to talk about that. It's not, I don't know if this is even considered a hot take, but like, why did the coins just appear? That didn't make any sense to me. I don't know. There's no early answer for it, but maybe there's more going on. I don't know.
Shit just happens. Yeah.
Maybe he actually has control over his gold, and he's just doing this for whatever reason.
Right? Maybe he could just get it back if he wanted it.
Yeah.
Why can't you just? Yeah.
My hot take is that Leprechaun in the Hood is the superior Leprechaun film, which, you know, undebatable in my opinion. And also Leprechaun in the Hood, because it is the superior film, needed a bigger budget. Like it could have been way more fun. Like it could have, the kills were just too tame, had awful lighting and cinematography. And like, there was a lot of times where it's like, oh, they had one day on set. Like this is, you could tell, like there's a couple like, nope, that's a one take Jake right there. Cause it's like, all right, sun's going down. We got to get this camera equipment back. It's like, nope. And, oh, you fucked up your line. Perfect. It's in the movie. Mm-hmm. So yeah, more money for Leprechaun in the Hood, which brings us to Blue Velvet meets Blue's Clues. What would you mash the Leprechaun franchise up with?
This is going to sound controversial, especially coming from me. I think this film needs to lean more into like the jokey kind of nature of like Warwick Davis, which we didn't talk enough about Warwick Davis, but Warwick Davis, what a fucking phenomenal. I love Warwick Davis and everything he's in. He's such a great actor. Even in this, he's obviously probably the best part of it. I think you mentioned when he's on screen, like it's great. When he's not, it's eh. So I think we just need to lean more into that. Give him some people, some actual, you know, I don't want to say good characters, but like fun characters to bounce off of. So I want Leprechaun meets Freddy versus Jason.
Oh, a 3-way.
Yeah. Or it could be any kind of mix of that. You know, Leprechaun. You could go that route of like Leprechaun versus somebody, right? The easy choice would be to do like Chucky, right? Because you know they reference it. They're both whatever short, and they, you know, it's kind of goofy to see that. I don't know. I think that would probably be the perfect pairing. So I kind of want to see a Leprechaun versus somebody movie.
All right, for L1, I want a movie. I really, really racked my brain for this, and I really wanted a movie that could really enhance the humor, the silly side, while also I want to give the Leprechaun, you know, a character that really shares his love for gold. So I'm going Austin Powers Goldmember. like just gold. Like just Goldmember is after the gold too, and like he's like having a shootout with the Leprechaun, and maybe like him and the Leprechaun and Mimi have a little fight or something, and Austin Powers doing whatever for, you know, the whole movie. So I think that would be pretty freaking hilarious. You like that idea, Javi?
I do. Beware the Dutch, for his shtick is much too much.
And his Vinky could be the flute. I don't know, but no. For in the Hood, I'm thinking for this one I went like the opposite way. I want a serious like antagonist to match Leprechaun, so I'm going Terminator. Maybe like the Terminator's after Sarah Connor, and like maybe Sarah Connor had just found the gold and hid it, and like so they're both after her, and then like the Leprechaun's gonna go, oh, hello, big robot. And like the Terminator's having none of it, just being all straight face. So I thought that'd be a good pairing.
I like that.
Yeah, great minds think alike, Javi. I also said Leprechaun meets Freddy vs. Jason.
Oh, hell yeah.
But I was thinking, so just that idea, it was going to be Leprechaun teams up with Chucky from the Child's Play franchise to fight against the Gremlins and the Critters from the Creature Feature side. So it's just a 4-way little person brawl.
Oh, dude, yes.
That's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe
Exactly,
of the little,
yeah.
the little psycho killers. Nice.
It's the LPKCU, the Little Person Killer Cinematic Universe. See, I purposely didn't just say it's the MCU.
Holy shit. And that, folks.
And that brings us to the Hans Gruber Death Fall Award. Yeah, did you guys have a favorite kill in the movie? Just like off the cuff, do you guys like favorite death?
I did. Mine was the priest. Him
priest
putting his
in,
hand to
yeah.
because that was like one that I'm like, oh yeah, dude, that level of gore should have been way more prevalent in this film. Mm-hmm. And we talked about that, like the kills weren't really that great for the most part, in both of them really. But I just feel like that level of gore, that's how it should have been for every single kill. Even if it's silly and stupid, like it still needs to have like some terrible schlocky like rubber mask being torn off, like whatever, some kind of stuff like that. So yeah, that was my favorite one for sure. Was the priest, just because I appreciated, the violence of it.
All right. L1, it's the pogo stick, just because it was so silly. He's like slow motion hopping towards him and just bracking on his chest. I didn't have like really any that I liked in the Hood. They were kind of boring, but I was actually really confused by the pawn shop owner killing. Like he had this like chick come up to him that was like a chick in his life beforehand.
Jackie
or something.
C.
Yeah. Okay.
Jackie
Wow. I did not
Jackie
remember.
C.
Yeah, Jackie C, who is actually Stray Bullet's mom.
Oh, I did.
His grandma says that. It's like, you're basically just like, oh, you like still hanging out with those little hoods? And he's like, grandma, my friends are here kind of thing. And it's like, oh, Stray. It's like, is your mom still a fucking prostitute?
Oh, whoa. But anyway, was that like, and then her face turns all weird. Was that supposed to be the leprechaun? Like as her, or was that one of the demons? Because then like immediately you see him, Warwick Davis as the leprechaun, like tucked away in a dark place. I'm
Yeah, like hiding
where-
under the car or something. Yeah.
Like was he in the car? Was he in her? I don't know what was going on. It was very confusing. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
No idea. I thought at first that it was like he was shape-shifting.
Yeah, right. that's
Yeah,
what
I thought it
yeah.
was shape shifting.
And then I was like, oh, is he hiding in the trunk? And then also I was like, oh, like that's like he's using his powers to like do this to the like the women and make them his like weird zombie like army. But then they don't have the budget to do that with any of the other
Right, they don't do it with
girls
the rest
they
of them,
get
yeah.
in the film. So it's just like, oh no, we're just gonna in post give them shitty green eyes.
But it's like she didn't have green eyes, so it's like I have no idea.
I have no idea what's going on. No, I don't know.
so
So I think your
confusing.
guess is as good as mine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you already mentioned the pogoing. That was my favorite. So I'll just say the the chasing and killing of the cop in the first one is just so weird and comedic. Like, he's like, hey, I'm over here. Now I'm over here. And then he literally just falls out of a fucking tree on his neck and just snaps his neck. It was just so out of nowhere.
It was.
And then, I also did not have a favorite death in Leprechaun in the Hood. So I will just say, not a death, but when they use the, scientifical know-how to combine the fluids in a fucking douche and KY jelly to make like napalm basically with a heating pad.
MacGyver's the shit out of it.
Yeah. So I'll say not a death necessarily because you can't really kill the leprechaun, but yeah, still pretty fun.
No, that was good. Yeah.
Which again, that's probably where most of their budget went was for that little
Was
person,
lighting
like,
him on
stuff person.
fire?
Yeah. And I will say, Javi, you already like mentioned it, but in the first movie, Warwick Davis's stunt doubles was Tony Cox from Bad Santa, and Deep Roy.
Deep Roy. Mm-hmm.
And that's the guy from.
Charlie.
He's in a lot of Tim
Chocolate
Burton
Factory.
movies.
Yeah,
Yeah, He's
Charlie
in
and Chocolate
Big Fish
Factory.
and Chocolate Factory. Yeah.
And then
Martin Kleba from Pirates of the Caribbean.
yeah, he was in the Hood, and the actress, the late Debbie Lee Carrington. She was at least in Tiptoes. Oh. And I believe she was in Seinfeld, and that's all I know her from.
Oh.
I don't know which one of them got caught on fire, but
Oh.
but yeah.
I wonder if it was her.
R.I.P. God, can you imagine like giving your life to Leprechaun in the Hood? That's like the film that, like, you know, like if you're gonna go out Brandon Lee style, like in The Crow, like, go out in the 5th Leprechaun movie.
Right? Yeah.
Which brings us to: do we call Jules and Vincent? Do we kill, let live? What are we thinking about the Leprechaun franchise? And you guys can also, you know, you don't have to say it as a whole. You can be like, I want this movie to die. I want this movie to live. Whatever you think.
I'm afraid Leprechaun doesn't get to live.
Oh.
However, in the Hood, escapes the shiv.
Oh.
Yeah, man, I think I'm killing Leprechaun and I'm letting In the Hood live. And I think I can do that because you don't need to see Leprechaun to see In the Hood. I'm sure it's the same for any of those movies in that series. I'm sure they're all like you know, I don't think watching the first one gives you I don't think that gives you any sort of like extra love or appreciation or anything for the character.
It's not like the first one gives us any explanation on the Leprechaun and what he does and all that.
No. I think if you could watch the 5th one first, be like, okay, whatever, that was, haha, I'm going to watch another one. Then you could watch the first one. Would it make a difference? So for that reason, one just kind of is not needed. So I'm killing number 1. I don't think I'll ever recommend 1 to anybody because there's nothing in that film that like really is like, okay, makes the watch worthwhile, right? I can't even be like, oh, Jennifer Aniston was super great. I was like the first time, like nothing. There's really nothing. It just kind of drags and it happens. Whereas like In the Hood, I feel like you can still watch that with friends and just fucking laugh your ass off and be like, God, this is fucking horrible. You can get high while you watch it. You can get drunk. Like, you know, I don't recommend probably watching it completely sober. But I think for what it is and what it clearly knows it's trying to be, fuck it, dude. I think I'm gonna let it live. Little green bastard.
All right. All right. For me, L1. Man, I feel like I would like it more if they chose a lane. If it was more horror, it would probably be good. If it was more wacky, it left me like wanting more, but not in the good way. Like, give me more wacky deaths and all that. So I'm killing it. And for In the Hood, I don't know if it was because, you know, I watched it alone and not, you know, the two of us, which we always laugh at movies more when we're together and joke on the movie in time. But also, I don't know, also watching it being older maybe also, like aging, maybe made it not as funny. I was just kind of like just feeling sad for like, what was his name? Butch, the smart kid. He's like knows all kinds of chemistry. He even like looked up leprechauns for dummies. Like he was like the smart one, and then just like died. And and I didn't find it as funny this time, so I'll kill both of them.
Damn. I have the exact same opinion as Javier. He basically hit the nail on the head for me. I'm killing Leprechaun 1, but In the Hood lives, you know, it survives the gentrification. Just ditto. Like the first one sucks, dude. Like there are so many movies that do this exact same concept better. Like just go watch any of the Child's Play movies. Go watch Critters, go watch Gremlins, go watch any like, oh, there's a little thing that's going to kill me movie. So much better than the first Leprechaun. But In the Hood is like so self-aware. It knows exactly what it is. Again, I just wish it had a bigger budget because then it could have been a little more balls to the wall. Like you could have actually gotten real rappers in it to play the rap gang. Like you could have, I don't know, anything. You could have at least just, you know, a couple $1,000 more. They could have got fucking lights. This was kind of hard to see at times. But yeah, definitely highly recommend In the Hood. I think it's a fucking cult classic for a reason. And that brings us to the Sonic Death Monkey Top 5. Speaking of In the Hood, this week's question is, what are your top 5 movies that need an In the Hood sequel? Super curious to see what you guys came up with.
Oh, man. I don't know about you guys' list, but this is going to be a weird one for
sure.
Yeah,
it's all over the place.
It's weird, yeah. I can start us off. My number 5, and it's kind of an easy cop-out one. My number 5 is Fast and the Furious.
I almost picked that.
Because it started off as an In the Hood movie.
I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of them are in the hood, Javi.
Well, the first one is, and like, I mean, the second one isn't even. That wasn't like they're in Miami. Like, no. So I feel like it needs to go back to the hood.
For that exact same reason, I almost picked
Fast and the Furious back to the hood, man. They need to go back to small street level like racing and stealing alternators, whatever. Like, so for sure,
stealing alternators.
So yeah, that's mine. That's my number 5.
Hell yeah. How about you, Casey?
Wait, are we?
Oh, we're round
Oh, yeah,
robin.
round robin.
Go
sorry.
round.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, to make it more fun.
Oh, perfect. All right. My number one is Baby's Day Out. Do you guys know that movie? So, like, I don't know. Maybe instead of like 3 grown men who kidnap the baby, it's like 3 hood people, and then the baby escapes, like crawls through a meth lab, and then like crawls through a shootout or something. Just like all sorts of things you could do in the hood that would still work and be probably a lower budget than Baby's Day Out in
really
the city.
funny.
So I kind of viewed this assignment as almost like, because Leprechaun in the Hood is basically like a modern blaxploitation movie,
Yeah.
basically. So I was like, what are some white ass movies that need blaxploitation? So my number 5 is Jurassic Park. Which we get like a half second of, T-Rex in the big city at the end of Lost World, but like, no, fuck it. Let's just start right there. Let's bring the Velociraptors to Compton. Let's do it.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus. My number 4, I have It. Stephen King's It in the Hood.
Why would you want to do that to that community?
I feel like Pennywise is worse than introducing crack.
I guess that would just fills my desire for it to be like way more scary. I don't know. There's a lot of, quick clowning around jokes waiting to be had, and yeah, I mean, seeing a full grown, humanoid, clown looking thing like in that area of the world, like I just think that's an interesting contrast for sure, versus like out in the countryside Maine,
You could set it in the mid 2000s, and they could have a crump off with like.
You got all the jokes about whatever like Joker, I don't know, whatever, like just I think it's
All right.
yeah.
All right. My next one is like, I also kind of go with like a fish out of water. So I'm going with Pee-wee in the Hood. Like, I don't know what the plot is, but for some reason I feel like they're all going to love him. And he's going to
yes.
do his little dance and on the stage, and they're going to be like, yeah.
You got some moves,
Go
Pee-wee. Yeah,
Go
hell yeah.
Pee-wee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great one, actually. I'm mad I didn't think of that.
His bike will definitely get stolen again, but like, I don't know if he'll get it back.
Shop.
Yeah. Maybe they pimp his bike. I don't know.
Ooh.
Oh,
Give him
I'm really
fucking
liking
rip,
this now, actually. Maybe they'll pimp his bike and he'll fly.
Exhibit just shows up.
I love it.
Puts a fish tank in it. PlayStation 2 makes it unregisterable. My number 4 is Despicable Me.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm
Mainly
intrigued.
because I just hate the Minions, and I want to see some Minions get gatted by some Crips and Bloods. I just wanna see- yeah, exactly. I just want to see those little yellow bastards wearing the wrong color and get taken out.
We're the yellow.
My number 3, another easy one. I got Child's Play. Chucky in the Hood, man. I think it's a little similar to Leprechaun, but again, Child's Play is such a better movie that I feel like the forces behind the earlier Child's Play movies could do a lot better with that, I think.
It's also just like where they put all the fucking leftover good guy dolls.
Right.
They just put them on like a discount rack somewhere
Yeah.
in a poor disenfranchised community.
All right. For mine, I have Home Alone in the Hood. I don't know why he's left in the hood. I don't know why he's lost, but Kevin McAllister will figure it out. Probably find a house to booby trap, and I don't know, get whoever. Maybe there's a hood version of Marv, and I don't forget the guy's name, but yeah, maybe there's a hood version of them trying to get him, and he
Maybe
almost kills him.
he boards the wrong plane, so instead of going to Connecticut, he goes to Compton.
Oh,
Like,
maybe that was it. Yeah.
yeah.
My number 3 in the Hood sequel is Back to the Future.
Okay.
That crossed my mind, but I don't know why. But
So just Marty ends up, actually doesn't go. He's in the same time zone the whole time. He just doesn't know it. He just ends up in the ghetto. He has to
Whoa.
he has to just deal with his white guilt, basically.
oh my God, just Doc pop out and go, Marty, You've been the same here the entire
exactly.
time.
He just everything he
That's the
sees he
twist.
attributes to like, oh my god, a dystopian future.
Like, no, this is now. You need to help your community, Marty. You're part of the problem.
What has Biff done to you guys?
It's really just a cautionary tale, Marty.
My number 2, I have The Godfather, and that one I was kind of thinking in a more serious, go back far enough where the two worlds could still exist and mesh, right? So maybe like the kind of dying down of the European immigrants and more into like, the rise of those kind of neighborhoods in like New York or that side of the area, like just like the blending of the two worlds, like the transition from this kind of crime to this kind of crime, something that like they horribly and offensively kind of alluded to in the first one, with some very poor, terrible choice of words, but maybe some sort of like just kind of, it's just a thought that kind of popped in my head that it was.
My next one is What We Do in the Shadows in the Hood. I don't know what sort of nighttime antics they'll get into in the hood, but I feel like they'll be in more danger at night because I feel like the hood hardly sleeps. So they, or maybe they'll just blend in better because there will be people walking around all over too.
Or will the hood be in danger of them because they are vampires?
That is true.
For my number 2, I said I want to see Jaws in the hood.
All
So
right.
it's just it's just a sad shark like in an abandoned swimming pool.
Oh.
It's actually just like basically a documentary similar to the film Blackfish.
I was like, I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it is.
It's like an unfortunate hobo like falling at one point and then gets munched on.
For my number 1, I have The Big Lebowski.
Hell yeah.
I would love to see the dude interact with the hood, and just like there's just so much potential there. Weeds are plentiful in the hood, and just I think it's just
Can you turn that off? I hate the fucking Wu-Tang Clan.
yes, exactly. Oh,
Wow, that was perfect.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. You got it. You get it.
Oh yeah.
You get it. You see it. You see the vision.
All right. My number 1 is National Treasure in the Hood. Maybe some like Reagan era treasure that he has to follow, and like I don't know I don't know the destinations that he has to like find the clues. Maybe like in a church or in a I don't know, maybe on some fire hydrant or something.
And again, my number 1 is trying to go for blaxploitation, taking a classically quote unquote white film and series or an idea and making it more appealing to urban audiences. So my number 1, Titanic in the hood.
Oh, okay. I like how out there yours are.
shit.
You're like, I don't care if it's a shark, if it's time travel, if it's a boat, they're going in the hood.
So Titanic in the hood would be a bunch of shitty gentrifiers taking a like fun little girlies weekend booze cruise at Lake Merritt in Oakland. And then their little sailboat just breaks down. There's no wind. And they just can't get back to shore. And they're just so, upper class and afraid of their neighborhood that they don't know how to ask the people that they can clearly see on the shore for help. So then, we have the same, like, I'll never let you go, Rose. And like, Jack hanging on for dear life onto this, like the keel of the boat. And, there's just a guy on the shore like, hey man, can I help you? No, we're fine. Hurry, Rose, put your purse away. And he's like, okay, cool. It's getting dark. All right, well, see y'all later.
You hear that, movie studios? We got plenty of ideas brewing over here at Nostalgia Killers.
Wow. Well, yeah, thanks guys. At the risk of getting canceled on that one, that was a pretty dicey little Sonic Death Monkey top 5. That brings us to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for listening. I have been Chuck Starzenski.
I have been Javier Martinez.
I've been Casey O'Connell.
And we have been the Nostalgia Killers. Bang, bang. I fucked that up. I'm going to edit this. Hold on. We can do this better.
Wait, I got a little outro.
Oh, you got a little outro? Okay, let me play the music for you.
Listeners, stay on the edge of your seat until next we meet.
Oh.
Oh.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang.